Welcome to Rooftop Conversation. So, because of quarantine, everyone, including myself, has been itching to travel. And whether it's traveling to another state, traveling to another country, or in my case, traveling to the local bar or the gym. But there are two young women here who have been changing the game on YouTube and have been envying all of us with their travels, like their travel vlogs all over YouTube. So today I'm interviewing Sophia and Nicole Barkley, collectively known as the Traveling Sistahood, and they're both on YouTube. And first, I'm gonna let them take it away and describe their channel. So Sophia and Nicole, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having
Thank you
us.
for having us.
So I would love to know, like, first off, like, just a little bit about your channel, just like describe, like, in a few sentences or a few minutes, like, describe your channels for folks who don't know.
Okay, I'm Nicole. Our channel is based on, it was mainly travel vlogs. We've recorded so far in St. Martin and Bali. We also have a video of us in Singapore. And we really just like to travel a lot. So we record ourselves on our trips and share it with the world.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, like, I saw your vlogs, especially that Singapore one, and I was like, oh, that's that airport everyone loves to talk about. There's like a
Yeah.
fairy garden, a butterfly sanctuary, a massage like
Yeah.
parlor, a spa. That's an airport where you like. Apparently, people say you just need to take a whole day to visit. So like,
Yeah.
I would love to hear first, like, what got you both into traveling, and what was your inspiration to start a YouTube channel, especially on your travels and things like
Well, what got us into traveling? I feel like someone from a Caribbean country, one of the first things you get is a passport as a child. So we've literally been traveling since we were babies with our parents, and we've visited a lot of places growing up. So that's really what sparked our desire to just travel the world. In terms of the second question,
For traveling to make a YouTube channel, all I watch is YouTube, to be honest, and I watch a lot of vlogs and a lot of travel vlogs. And at the time, we were going on so many vacations anyway, so just like, why don't we just record what we do also? Because if they could do it, then we can do it.
that? Yeah, no, definitely. And like, I'm obsessed with YouTube too. I think it takes me to another world that like I'm currently not in, and YouTube is becoming the new media. You know what I mean? I think like there
Yeah.
are more people who watch like YouTube, like online streaming platforms, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, TikTok for the young kids. You know, it's like becoming definitely more of like like a platform for folks at this point. So I'd love to
Yeah.
hear like, how do you both like? So I know Sophia's a lawyer, but how do you both like balance your careers and also running a YouTube channel, running, doing the logistics. Like I started this like it's like a podcast, IGTV show video. I don't even know what my thing is, but this project that I'm doing and running it has been the most difficult thing. Like I think I finally got a headset and audio that makes sense and everything. So it's like, how do you balance that, like working like 9 to 5s or working your careers with like running and managing and editing and all those processes of running a YouTube channel? How do you balance those two things out?
I think it's definitely helpful that we're sisters and we're working together. So there's times when I'm just like, I can't get this done. Can you? So it started out where I was the one editing the videos, and it became a point where I didn't have the time. I was just like, okay, you're going to take over the editing, and I'll help you otherwise. So I think it's definitely helpful to be working as a team. And I do feel like it's kind of like an outlet for us at this point, editing videos. So for me, working as a law clerk, it's like when work becomes too overwhelming, sometimes I can use this as like an outlet and a creative process to just get that out.
Yeah, definitely. I can agree. So, I mean, right now, I just finished my fellowship, so I'm not working 9 to 5. But when I did do this channel, I did like the 9 to 5 job, and I was just like, oh, I hated being here. It wasn't like I was working a job that really wasn't my interest or my field. So I definitely can agree, like using this as a creative platform for yourself to like express yourself and things like that. And like I'm gonna segue really quickly to this question for Sophia. Both of us are lawyers, and when you think lawyers, you're thinking like very strict, stern. Like there's like a certain image or a certain perception of what lawyers have to be, and not a lot of lawyers kind of like tap into their creative side, right? Because a lot of like the work that we do, it is like left brains work, logical work, and a lot of like I know for myself and a lot of my friends that we're now that we're like transitioning from law school into our careers, we're all like, oh wait, well we have work, but we also want to step and kind of explore other sides of ourselves, including our creative side. So like, what was that process like for you, and like how like what gave you kind of the motivation to tap into that creative side, or like were you always a creative person and then you just kind of like fleshed it out into something bigger?
I would say that I was always a creative person. People people kind of always say that about me, but I think when it came to having a YouTube channel, it was definitely a little bit more challenging because you're putting this out there for the entire world to see. You're also promoting it on platforms that you may have other attorneys that you work with on. I think I can credit my sister a lot to kind of trying to like break the molds of what a lawyer is supposed to look like, or what someone who works in the medical field looks like. She's very challenging in that way. So seeing her trying to like break that mold has encouraged me more to put my personality out there, because at the end of the day, while lawyers may seem more stoic, we all have personalities. We all have lives outside of the courtroom. So I'm not just this. I'm also someone who has fun, who drinks with their friends, who travels the world, who laughs and jokes. So I think I wouldn't put anything out there that I didn't want to represent me. And I think just doing it in a tasteful way, I've just learned to do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Nicole, like, Sophia mentioned you work in the medical field. That's also a very same thing, strict, stern. Like, there's like this clean cut persona that you have to put in. What are your experiences about that too? Like balancing your professional life with something creative and something like so. I mean, you're opening your like Sophia said, right? You're making yourself vulnerable to the world because and I
Yeah.
would just love to hear from your experiences too. How is that like for you?
Okay, well, I'm in the process right now of becoming a midwife, and I think it's important for us to show ourselves on social media because at the end of the day, like, but even if you're a professional, you're still a person, and I think showing these sides of ourselves could make us even more personable as providers and more welcoming to our clients or our patients. And we have real lives, so we do things that you do, and we're just like you. And I think that's a good side of us for our future clients and patients to see.
I think she also
Definitely.
challenges I think she also challenges the norms. A lot of times I feel like she has had to school me on, because I'm very big on like, she loves wearing braids. She loves wearing long braids. And I'm just like, are you going to be a provider wearing these long braids and stuff like that? And she's just like, it shouldn't matter. And we shouldn't have to think about these type of things. So she definitely challenges those type of things and has encouraged me to challenge those things as
Yeah,
well.
'cause I think if we don't do it, we're gonna have kids, and our kids are gonna sit here and be facing the same challenges as our parents did. So if we don't take the opportunity to be like, no, I'm a lawyer, I'm a midwife, I can still be on the internet and be fun, I can still show different sides of myself. If we never do it, then no one ever will.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you like wholeheartedly. I think like so important, especially like as women, especially as women of color, to like we have complexities. It's not just one strict box that we all have to follow, and especially in professions, like it tends to like just further like boxes in further
Right.
with like all these like personalities. So like that's actually one of the things like I love about both of your like vlogs and things like that. It's like so. It's like yes, I get to see a lawyer and a midwife enjoy life, like enjoy like vacations, drink,
Yeah.
have fun, and it's just like that pure joy and that pure like just like I'm also a person who also likes to do other things besides like being in the courtroom, being in the medical field. It shows a well-rounded person, and I just love that about your channel. Um, so the next question I want to ask, and like this is definitely something that people have been talking about when it comes to travel. So, I would love to hear like what are your experiences traveling, especially as two black men. Traveling in itself is really it's really difficult, especially if like you're traveling alone as a woman. There's like a lot of vulnerabilities and things like that. And then putting on like being black, it's like a lot of the world unfortunately is like anti black and I just like love to hear like your experiences about that, how like that's been like and things like that for you both.
Okay. Well, luckily I don't think we've ever experienced really overt racism on any of our trips, but I do remember I did study abroad in China once, and we were there for about a month, and everywhere that I went, people were taking pictures. Like, people even came up to me, like, handed me their children to take pictures with them because they just don't see Black people. And it was really awkward and off-putting. And even when we were recently in Bali, yeah, people, like, there was a tour bus at one of the places that we at, and they all got off the tour bus to come and take pictures with us. And it was really weird to be objectified in that way. So it's kind of, we don't want to be rude necessarily, but those things have happened, and it is like an adjustment and something that you have to deal with when you're traveling.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear. I know for where I'm from, Thailand, it's pretty much homogenous with the exception of like, I mean, there's some ethnic groups here and there, but I know like, it's, there's still that like, I know for like a lot of like people, like it's still like I don't want to say new experience. I don't think that's like the right term, but like it's just like this awkward experience that a lot of Thai folks will have, and I don't. I'm only speaking for them and not like the rest of Asia. But it's interesting to hear from both of you that that's something that you face during your travels and things like that as well. And I would like love to hear like what like so like overall like you've been to I mean from what I've seen on like YouTube, I mean you've been to Saint Martin, like Martin, you've been to Bali, you've been to Singapore, and I'm sure you've been to other places as well. But I would love to hear like what your favorite travel experience has been. And it doesn't have to be like okay, out of the three that you put on YouTube, it could just be like your entire lives. What has been your favorite place? But and then also like like the biggest lessons that you both have learned while traveling, both like while traveling and while like documenting your travels, right? So it's like, how do you know what to document? How do you know what not to document? When do you know how to document? Like when do you know like okay, this is time to add put this on the vlog? So like I would love to hear those.
Okay. So first, I would say my favorite experience traveling would have to be our recent trip to St. Martin, which was to celebrate me graduating from law school. It would be my favorite because I think it was about 50 of our family members all went to St. Martin. We had a lot of fun together throughout the entire time. So that would be one of my favorite travel experiences thus far. In terms of lessons, I feel like traveling has taught us to really create memorable experiences with people that you love. It's taught because even during this current COVID pandemic, I think with friends, I was just like, well, it feels like the world is about to end. But when I think about it, I feel like I've lived a full life. Like we created a lot of memories together. So I think creating memorable experiences with people that you love is one of the lessons that I've learned with traveling.
Yeah, one of my favorite trips besides St. Martin was Dubai. I actually spent last year New Year's in Dubai, and it was
without me,
without her, but it was still a really fun trip. And we're both Grenadians, so whenever we go back to Grenada, even though we weren't born there, it really just feels like home. Like it's such a peaceful place to go to. And I think traveling, learn a lot of lessons of just enjoying your life. Because when we're home and we're working and we're in school, like it feels like such a burden. But just having like the next trip to look forward to know what you're working for is really helpful. And I think traveling with people that you know and love, you get to have a lot deeper conversations while on trips, and you get to create a better bond with them.
Definitely. Like I see you both like all your trips. I'm just like, yeah, I wish I was there. I like it's so weird because I haven't traveled much aside from being here and then being like I've traveled a lot like domestically in my life, but never like really internationally. I can probably only say the only international place I've been to is Thailand, and that's just visiting home for me. That's not even like I'm going somewhere like special. It's just like oh I'm going back home type of thing. But like yeah, no, I think traveling there is like especially traveling with someone you're close to, right? Like and you get to like have these experiences with people, get to see different cultures, different places, eat different food, explore different cultures, and like I see on Sophia's page like all her travel pictures, and I'm just like her Instagram page, and I'm just wow, like those are gorgeous pictures, and I'm just like yes, this is awesome. Yeah, and like I would love to hear like just because like it's interesting to like see because like you're a sister duo, so it's like has it been difficult to travel with like your sister? Like, because I know for me, if like I travel with my younger brother, it's gonna be like up and down, a lot of fighting, bickering, and like, you know, and filming it. Like if I had to do that with my brother, it would be like a big fight all the time. But I would love to hear like what it's like to travel with like each other, and how is it to like work together on this platform, like with like as like sisters and things. Like is it hard to like do you bicker? Do you like is it, or is it just like you're close enough where it's like,
Right,
okay,
we
you're a
do.
team?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
I know, like
think
for me,
we definitely bicker a lot. Like even in our first video, the Singapore video, people seem to really have liked that one. But I remember that entire day, I had such an attitude because he was getting on my nerves. It was such a hard process, and I think with editing, having another person to kind of answer to can be annoying because I may edit something and like the way that it looks, and then I'll send it to her, and she's like, "No, change this and change that." And after you've worked really hard on it, you kind of don't want to. And I think she has those same experiences, but it's kind of good to have a balance so that a different perspective on things.
yes, I would say we definitely argue. I think it also kind of makes our sisterhood stronger because
Maybe.
now we have to work together. So we have to work through the fights. I mean, there are times where I'm just like, I'm not speaking to her for the rest of the week, and and then I have to because we work together. So it's fun. It's challenging, but we do get it done. I feel like it's just an extension of what we already are working together. I think it's a good balance. We do butt heads, and like the way she thinks as a creative is different than what I think as a creative, but somehow we're able to find a common ground. So I think it's good.
and I see like in your videos, like you both do, like you really push yourselves to like, okay, maybe it's like not scary for you. I feel like for me, it's like terrifying. Like I saw you did the swing in Bali, and I feel like if I had to do that, I would literally cry, throw a fit. Like I'm so scared of heights, but like what? Like you both are so brave. I'm like, oh my god, I think I would die. I would probably be on the swing for like that one Instagram picture. I'm like, get me off right now. I don't want to swing it. I'm like scared. But
See,
anyway,
but
what?
that's why we do videos because
Yeah.
when you really go on a swinging ball, there's a net. There's a net under you, so
Oh,
you're really not swinging on the net. You're harnessed. Like you're strapped on. So this is like why you want to create these vlogs so people can see that you're really not swinging off.
You'd be surprised. A lot of the things in Bali are just illusions.
Yes.
Yeah.
oh my god! So the whole time I'm thinking it's like those zip lining things where you just like go through the forest, like the jungle, and I'm like, oh my god, how about that thing snaps on me, or like, is it stable? Okay, so there's a net. Okay, so now I know this. But oh my god, this is like something I didn't even know. Wow. But one thing like I would love to like know is like what has been like the most like challenging thing that you've done, like like the swing, or like have you gone zip lining or jumping with sharks, or I don't know, like people do these things all the time. Like what has been like the scariest experience while traveling?
I think I would say zip lining for me. I think zip lining is one of those things that I don't think I want to do again. I'm glad that I think I did it once or twice, but it was very scary because we did it in Jamaica and I was 19. It was our very first trip, like traveling alone. I was 19, we went to Jamaica with one of my other friends and we did zip lining, but like you kept going higher and higher, and sometimes it was just literally 2 levels with a ladder in between, and then another point we had to drop down. It was very scary. It was extremely scary. And so I think that was definitely one of the and you couldn't go back down once you started, so it was just like I just have to keep going forward. So it was one of those.
Yeah, for me it was either zip lining, but also I did in Dubai, and a lot after you do like a couple of small hills, you're like going straight up and straight down. So you just felt like you were about to flip over at every second, and that was really really fun. But it was very scary. I wouldn't do that again either. Yeah.
As you both were describing your experiences, like I'm getting goosebumps, like because I like the thought of ziplining. I don't know, like that one activity, that and like the one where you jump from a plane. Those are the two that I'm honestly terrified of. Like a ziplining, like as you were describing it, I was like, oh my god, like the goosebumps were coming up. But like, I mean, but like, I guess like, what about a thing about travel? I think the beautiful thing about travel is like pushing yourself to do things that you don't do typically
Yeah.
like on a 9 to 5 schedule. And I think like you've both shown that in your videos and throughout this interview, you definitely emphasize like, yeah, like I have a legal career, I have a medical career, but me getting to travel is a break from life. It's a break from the routine that I usually do, and
Yeah.
you're putting yourself to like challenge yourself to these experiences, right? Like challenging yourself to go on that scary zip line in Jamaica or go on the Bali swing or really put yourself out there. And I think that's like the beauty of travel. And I think you both do that very well in your videos and through your videos, your Instagram, the pictures that you put up. It really shows that traveling isn't just this like exclusive thing that only certain folks do. It's just like anyone can do it, and it could be fun. It doesn't have to be stressful. It could literally just be like I'm enjoying. It's just like the pure joy. And I feel like that's what you both are like have emphasized in your videos and your channel through your work, and of course just in like this discussion that both like the three of us are having. It's just joy, and it's just joy and relaxation, and it's exploring yourself and exploring the world. Um, which leads me to my next question. So you both like one thing I love about your Instagram feed and your YouTube, it's like representation. Not only highlight yourselves and your travels, but you also post other pictures of other Black folks traveling out there, like in Bali. I don't know where you get those pictures from, but they're like gorgeous, like Instagram feeds, like as well. And like it's like you're highlighting and like providing this space of like representation and diversity in travel. And on Instagram, at least from what I've seen predominantly, it has like for like travel blogs and travel Instagrams, it's always been like predominantly wealthy white folks that, travel, and those are the faces that we see highlighted. So I would just love to know from both of your experiences, how can we make like I don't want to say like I don't know how to phrase like the travel social media world. How do we make that more inclusive, or how do we make that more accessible for other folks?
I would say I would do two things, or I try to do two things. One, create spaces for us, and I think we've done that with our Instagram page, Traveling Sistahood. Create spaces where you feature Black women, Black men traveling the world and enjoying it. So create those spaces that you want to see, and it would influence other people to go on and create those spaces for themselves, because we were actually influenced by seeing that on other people's travels pages. So I would say create those spaces for yourself. And also, one thing that I try to do is be intentional with who I go to watch on YouTube. So a lot of times when you search, say, a St. Martin vlog on YouTube, the suggested videos that pop up do feature white women, white men traveling to St. Martin. And I try to be intentional in choosing what videos I go to watch and trying to discover what I like. Not trying to choose a Black woman or that Black man that have traveled to St. Martin. So I think people can create those spaces for the intentional when you go on YouTube to look at certain videos, so that maybe that will change the algorithm, and now YouTube will suggest more Black men and Black women who travel the world when you search a video like that.
Yeah, and with that being said, if you are watching this and you're a Black person that wants to be featured on our travel page, you can just DM us your pictures on Instagram, and we'll be sure to feature you either on our page or on our Instagram story.
Definitely, and I will put all both Sophia and Nicole's information down below. And as like we're wrapping up this interview, actually, like Nicole, your segue is actually great for this. Is there anything besides the channel and besides um, like besides the channel, your Instagram that you want to promote, like anything personal or anything like any like last few words or anything, any other topics that you want to cover? Because this is your space and your show. At the end of the day, I'm just a moderator, and I would just love to hear like if there's anything else that you would want to promote.
Outside of going to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram, which are both Traveling Sistahood, I think we would use this opportunity to encourage people to travel more. I've met a lot of people who don't have a passport, and we understand that there are different reasons why people don't have a passport. But traveling doesn't only have to be globally, it can be domestically as well. I just encourage you to travel, see new things, be inspired by different places to go, check out people through YouTube, and be intentional in checking out creatives of color. And I just want to encourage people to travel because it's a great and fun thing to do to create memories.
Yeah, and a lot of people really consider traveling as something that's super expensive and that you can only do a lot of times if you're rich. But I took about 5 or 6 trips last year and I make minimum wage. So if you need tips or you want any advice about traveling, any questions, anything that you have, you can DM us and talk to us. But know that it's feasible for you to do because if we can do it, then you can do it too.
And actually, that's Nicole. Like you really are like bouncing off. You're really great, doing great with the transitions for me today. I thank you so much. And to that point, I was going to ask you both if you can give me your top five, like so 5 each for both of you, your top 5 travel tips. So like things that we should know while traveling, or things like we should know before traveling, afterwards, or from your experience. So you're both of you like Sophia's top 5 tips and Nicole's top 5 tips for traveling.
Okay, that's it. So my first one would be to look and plan early. So look at, like, if you have an idea that you want to travel for spring break next year, just look at the different trips and different options early. A lot of websites do bundle deals, so don't leave those out because you can get a good deal to travel for cheap. Definitely, there's apps out there that compare flights for you as well. Take advantage of those apps that compare flights and trips, and maybe you are flexible with your dates so that you can find more affordable flight prices. When you are traveling, I would say research conversion rates so that make sure that no one is scamming you when you get there in terms of pricing things. So look up conversions rates and ask them how much it is in their dollar, so you already know how much you should be giving them in American if that's where you're from. My fourth tip would be, let's see, pack light. Because I try as good as you can. I often travel with just clothes I don't even wear. So if you can, like now that I'm traveling more, I try and get into the habit of planning out outfits. So if you can plan out outfits down to the shoes, because I can't tell you how many times I bring extra shoes that I don't ever wear. Sometimes I travel and I only end up wearing the same 3 shoes throughout the entire trip. So try and pack light because it's really unnecessary. You don't want to pay for overweight. So yeah, pack light. And my last tip would be have fun. Have fun when you travel. Do new things. Do enjoyable things. Things that are going to create memories. Take pictures so you can relive those moments after and you have memories. So just have fun when you travel. Have fun with the people that you travel with.
So my tips, to piggyback off of some of the things that she said, Hopper is a good app to watch flights on. Expedia and Cheap Caribbean are good sites to get travel bundle deals with hotel and flights. If you have an Ebates, if you book on Expedia, you can get cash back for everything that you book with Ebates. What else? I would say bring a blanket for the plane because it's normally cold. Pack light, like she said. What else would be a tip? I thought of one when you said it. If you watch videos and you see excursions that other people did, usually they link it in the description box. You can look at that ahead of time. So if you're budgeting your money, you know that I want like $500 to have as spending money. Also factor in that if you want to go scuba diving, it's going to cost this much. If you want to go jet skiing, it's going to cost that much. You should factor that in when you think about how much you're going to spend on a trip. And if you're staying at a hotel, like don't be afraid to leave the resort. Don't be afraid to go to like local parties and like local places to eat. Most of our memories on trips are like going to stuff that people from the locals told us about, and we had the most fun doing those things. So don't be afraid to like actually explore and get the real side of the places that you're going to.
Just be smart in doing it.
Yeah, be safe, but still try to enjoy as much as possible.
Those seem like great tips. Okay, I felt like personally attacked with the pack lightly because I'm notorious for packing like 3 bags for like a week trip. Like, and people hate it. Like, I remember the last time I went to. Okay, so like pre-COVID, before everything shut down, I was planning a trip to New Orleans, and unfortunately that was canceled. But it was literally, this trip was for 4 days. I packed this huge like bag of clothes and shoes, and people were looking at me like, my friends were like, we're going for 4 days. Like, are you really bringing everything? And I'm like, but you need the club, you need the daytime clothes, you need the pajamas, you need the gym clothes, you need
Yeah, like
the
you
club
don't even
clothes.
wear all of that.
I don't wear anything. It's like the worst. And then there was another time we went
Yeah.
to Cali, and like it was for a week, and in Cali, like I have relatives there, so I was staying at someone's house with a washing machine and everything. I still brought a huge bag of stuff and ended up wearing like 3 things. It was because it was cold, so I couldn't even wear like half of the stuff I brought. It was the worst. And thank you, Sophia. I'm actually gonna like next time I travel, I'm gonna have to hit you both up and be like, hey, so I don't know how to travel. I'm like I'm bad. I'm horrible. I'm horrid at it. It's like I'm the worst at that. But thank you for you both for joining me today. I can't wait for quarantine to be over. I can't wait for. I mean, I know a lot of like places are now like we're not asking Americans to come because of the COVID situation. So I just like I can't wait to travel. Like now that I'm done with I'm inspired by you both and like your journey and having fun. And thank you both for sharing your story with me and of course like being vulnerable in this space as well. So thank you.